Have you noticed how some people thrive no matter the state of the economy, the country that they live in, the work that they do, while most other people work harder and harder and harder and just seem like they're always getting stuck? And isn't it true in your experience that if you could consistently make the right decisions, the ones that are fully aligned with who you are as a person, that you'd already make much further progress in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in every aspect of your life? Now, here's the secret. Successful people don't just make more decisions. They make them differently. And when you learn to do the same thing, you double your income, you triple it, you'd have richer relationships, you'll be more fulfilling in your work, and there'll be a lot of things that will be possible for you. And, life generally just becomes much, much more predictable and richer. Welcome to the Brick by Brick broadcast with me, Olatunde Akinwumi, creator of the Vital Architecture System, a framework that helps high performers close the gap between the life that they're living and the life that truly fits them. So confusion turns into confident, purpose-driven momentum. In our last video, we talked about why SMART goals. I think SMART goals are a bad idea. You'll find the video somewhere along the screen. But if you're just new to this channel, I would say please like, subscribe, and then send this video to a family friend or someone close to you. So today we're going to be talking about something very important. And it's that how successful people make decisions differently from the rest of us, right? And when life gets hard, most of us, we make decisions driven by basically three things. We make decisions from a place of pain, we make decisions from pressure, or we make decisions from popular opinion. That's survival mode. But survival mode won't give you the freedom or the growth that you require to move to the next level, right? The people who rise above all of life's challenges, they are people who create opportunities regardless of what's happening within their external environments. They make decisions that are anchored on something that is much deeper than the things that are outward, and that's their values. And by values, I mean the things that are truly, truly important to them on a much deeper level. Now, here's something that I want you to know. Listening to me right now are four sets of people, and I'm going to describe them. The first sets are people I call drifters, right? People who are drifters, they have no clarity whatsoever about what is important to them. They react to the circumstances. They react to external pressures. Life just is they're like leaves in a wind. So when there's a wind, it just keeps blowing them, right? The second group of people are people I call the splits. These ones are aware, but they are conflicted. They know some of their values, they know some of the things that are important to them, but they don't prioritize them. Sometimes they feel torn, they second guess every decision that they want to make. They are stuck in analysis paralysis, where they have an idea of what they want to do, but many times because they're not sure exactly of how this is in alignment with who they are, what they really want, so they're paralyzed. They don't know how to make decisions, and they don't know how to make decisions fast. The third set of people are people I call the compromisers. These ones are partially aligned. They live by some values, some things are important to them. In some areas of their life, they prioritize. But in other areas, they sacrifice, right? They get short-term wins, but they feel long-term frustration. There's burnout, there's some measure of regret. And then the fourth set of people are people I call the builders. These ones are fully aligned. Their decisions are, reinforced. Every decision that they make is reinforced by the things that are important to them. Every action stacks momentum. They move with clarity. They move with confidence. There's a certain level of purpose in their steps. Success just compounds naturally because the things that they are doing are in alignment with them, right? The goal is to climb to the peak of the ladder, to move from a place where you are confused, to a place of clarity where you are fully aligned, right? So if you are in any of these steps, I'm sure you would have identified yourself, right? But let me explain something, right? Our lives really, it looks like a human engine, right? It's like an engine. If you have any idea of how many pieces there are in a car, there are so many pieces. In fact, I was reading it up and I found out that there are over 30,000 pieces or parts of a car. And the truth is that even if one part of that car is in misalignment, for instance, let's say your plug blows out, the whole system just crashes. The whole system crashes. So humans are not different. We are like that, right? There are there's misaligned values, it shows up in our lives, in our everyday lives. It shows up as procrastination. It will show up as self-sabotage. It will show up as indecision, But when the things that are important to us, we are fully aligned with those things, everything just runs smoothly, and we accelerate naturally. So if there's any point in your life where you are not moving as fast as you think you should, it's possible that you are not, working in alignment with the things that are truly, truly, truly important to you. Which brings me to the True North Finder, a part of a method I developed called the Achieve Pro method. Achieve Pro method is part of the Vital Architecture system, the system that helps people to, chase audacious goals and to achieve them. The True North Finder helps you to uncover your core values. It helps you to define them in a personal way. So it's not just something that is, general to everybody, but something that is very unique and personal to you. And then it helps you to prioritize them when your values clash, because believe me, your values will clash. When you do this, decision-making just becomes very effortless. It's easy for you to know, what next step to take. It's easy for you to be in a position where, it seems like there's confusion. But because you have clarified your values, then you stop second-guessing yourself and you start building momentum accordingly, right? And so I'll leave you with something to do, and I want you to do something for me. I need you to think about, a decision that is important to you. Take one particular decision, something that perhaps you've been putting off, or maybe it's a career move. Maybe it's something that has to do with your finances or your relationship, or even something that is truly personal to you. Ask yourself one question. Which of my values does this align with? Or which does it violate? And so what I mean is that, let's say it's something that has to do with you maybe moving cities, because it reminds me of a particular client who, I had this session with a client who was conflicted about whether they were supposed to move countries or not, right? And so she and her husband sat down and they had been arguing about whether to move and whether not to move and what were the things that were important to them. And by the time that we ran through, the decision-making framework where they were able to clarify what was important to them, it was easy for them to know the decision that they were going to make, whether they were going to stay back in the country where they were nationals or they were going to move, right? It was very easy. And once they just came to that realization, and, the decision-making process became very easy for them to make. So the one question that I've asked you now is, look at one specific aspect of your life and ask yourself this question: how does this align with the things that are important to me? Or how does this violate it? That one question often unlocks surprising clarity, and you begin to feel the shift almost immediately, because when it comes to values, a lot of people are, I'm sure if you've walked into an organization, you see, an inscription somewhere where they say our core values, and they talk about, integrity, transparency, you'd see honesty. But the truth is that most people put that up and never live by them. However, whether we are conscious of it or not, we are all living out things that we consider important to us, right? And how, the question that most people ask, how do I know my values? How can I tell my values? I'll say three things. The first one is that our values are formed, at birth. By birth, I mean where we grew up, our parenting framed our values, because the things that our parents considered important naturally became important to us. And they did that through a process of punishment or reward. So you would see where your parents were happy about something, and so you want to do it more, right? Or you would see where they were offended or angry about something and you want to do it less, right? So naturally you would imbibe some of those values that your parents had. The next way is through your peers, right? And as you are growing up, that's why peer pressure is a thing, right? Because in peer pressure, you now begin to take up the things that your peers find important. So if it's fashion, if it's a trend, music, or all of those things, they begin to influence your decision making. And so you look to what other people are doing to begin to do them. But that's not where we should end. We should get to the point where, beyond what we learn from our parents or what we've learned from our peers, we have now sat down and asked ourselves questions about, okay, what exactly do I consider important to me? And so let's say you're trying to pick a spouse, or you're trying to buy a house. Because honestly, for everything that we have to make a decision, it's guided by the things that are important to us, which is our value system, right? So let's say you want to live in a particular location, or you'd like to buy a particular car. So the thing that people ask, okay, if I'm trying to buy a car, what's important to me about this particular brand of car? right? So it could be safety, it could be, let's say, comfort or luxury or something else, right? Let's say also maybe you want to put your children in particular schools. So you're asking yourself questions. What are the things that are important to me when it comes to child education, or when it comes to the kinds of school that I would like beyond just, the money, right? So it could be, okay, I go visit the school and I like the ambience, or I've seen the quality of education that they are offering, right? Those are the things that guide your decisions. It's not an unconscious process. Decision making is not unconscious. Sorry, decision making is conscious, right? But there's a unconscious operation that goes on beneath the surface, which we rarely see. And if we are not intentional about how we are guiding that unconscious process, then we'll be making decisions that are not truly ours, that are not truly personal. So yeah, you get your values from your parents, you get them from your peers, but you need to get to the point where you have come to a place where you can filter out the things that are important to you based on your context, your unique situation, your unique decision. You have to also decide the things that are important to you, right? Based on your lived experience, you have come to a point where you have now decided that, okay, these things, I consider them important to me, and I want to live in alignment with it, right? So that's what decision making, that's how our values, affect our decision making process. Now imagine applying this framework to every major decision in your life, in your business, in your career, your relationships. How much faster would you move? That's exactly why I offer a 90-minute game plan consultation. It's an intensive paid consultation where each month I take only 5 people through the process. Before we meet, you would complete a pre-consultation questionnaire where you get to maximize every single minute. Questions that will take you through the things that specify your context. And in our session, we'll uncover your true norths, would optimize your focus. You know what are the blockers, what are the things that have been acting as obstacles. And then we'll design your personalized execution blueprints. After that, you'd receive a comprehensive report, an action plan that you can put into use immediately. And this isn't just theory. It's already transforming lives. I'll take you through 1 or 2 testimonials, right, from the Game Plan Intensive. Now, consider one of my clients. His name is Richard, and I'm not using his real name for the purpose of privacy and security, right? So a young father working 2 sales job. He felt trapped, he felt stagnant, and he was convinced that he had no time for growth, even though he knew that he needed a career transition. It was something that was very important to him. In his Game Plan Intensive, we uncovered hidden hours, because his problem was always that he didn't have time, to build up the skills that he needed to make that career transition. We reframed his motivation also, because he didn't, there were a lot of things that acted as blockers, and he didn't know exactly what was important to him in terms of his career in relation to his family. Today, he's studying the course that he wants to study while working those jobs, and he's doing it with clarity and excitement, and he's building a career that fits who he is as a person and what his family needs. The second person is a lady I would call Shola. She's a creative entrepreneur who was stuck behind the invisible walls of self-reliance. She couldn't ask for help, even though she knows she needed it. And it was starving her business. In our session, we also reframed that belief into a strength, right? And then we mapped out a 90-day plan. Within less than 2 weeks, she reached out to me again and said, well, she had raised more than enough funds that she needed to kickstart her business, only by tapping into her network that was already in existence, right? But because we're able to reframe that into something that, showed her why it was important for her to be able to, build quality relationships, because it helped her to fulfill a much deeper need that she didn't know that she had. These are no exceptions. They are what happens when you stop drifting and start aligning your decisions with what you truly value, what's a high priority to you, right? And if you're ready to stop drifting and start moving with clarity, with confidence, with momentum, you can apply now for the Game Plan Intensive using the link below. You'd find it in the link in the description. Remember, I only have 5 people that I deal with every month for this Game Plan Intensive, and spots fill out really fast. So you walk away with a clear strategy, a personal execution blueprint, and the momentum to double or even triple your income. All your relationships will become richer, but your family life will be something that you always look forward to. You will basically take control of your life and all the things that are, that you consider important to you. The life that you want will become closer to what you already have, right? The only difference is that you would now be in alignment and you'll be making the right decisions. So make every of these second count. The link again is in the description. And if you're new to this channel, please like this video, comment on it, share it with your family and your friends, and of course, you can subscribe. Thank you very much. Till I see you again next episode. God bless you.
This now, Brick by Brick broadcast. Live your full potential on purpose.